So, why were we in such a rush to replace our thru-hulls in the first place? Well, let me show you something. Here's one of our thru-hulls in the aft head. And after removing the thru-hull, it's been weeping. This is stuff coming out from underneath. This is water. There's water coming out from underneath the thru-hull. Now let's hop inside and take a look at what it looked like on the inside. So here we are in the aft head now. So the one that was definitely weeping was this one right here. This is the inlet for the aft toilet. And can't see it as much now because everything has dried out, but it was definitely weeping. You can kind of see that there is some kind of water trail stuff. This here is the outlet for the aft head. And yeah, you can still see kind of the signs that it was weeping as well. The whole thru-hulls weeping and everything, that just wasn't going to fly with us. And we knew going into this that the thru-hulls needed to be replaced. So that's why we're here. That's why we're replacing them. Oh, real quick, let's go. I should show you some stuff about how some of them were even desincifying and that kind of stuff.
Here is a prime example of a thru-hull experiencing dezinkification. The telltale sign is a thru-hull turning pink. To top this off, some of the thru-hulls could not be operated. Now, let's get to cutting the thru-hull out. The plan is simple. The execution ended up being tedious. All we're going to do is cut the cap of the thru-hull into sections. Then, we'll push a chisel under the cap. Drive the chisel hard enough, and the pieces will break off, and we can pull the thru-hull out. Turns out, it wasn't so simple. So we made more cuts so that a chisel would have an easier time getting underneath the cap.
Speaking of tools, you can see in last Friday's video, which you can click on right here, that I first started by trying to use the Sawzall, and that didn't work out very well. I then moved to the angle grinder and tried doing that. The angle grinder was cutting just a little bit too fast for me, so I then moved to the multi-tool, and that provided me a bit more control over cutting into the bronze. But it does take its time because it's a lot slower. The first thing I tried for prying was a blade head. Blade head didn't work out too well because it just hammers and it doesn't go in. I also was using a claw hammer. The claw hammer is great, but it just didn't do the job either. I tried using a wood chisel didn't cut it. But what ended up cutting it, so to speak, were these metal chisels. These are just super cheap ones you can pick up at Home Depot or something. And they did the job very well. The short one is actually my favorite for doing the thru-hulls because it's a lot easier for me to control than this long one. But they both have their place. Now, for doing all that, I used a nice big 3-pound sledgehammer kind of deal to hammer them. And the secret to using all this together is doing a number of cuts to be able to actually get the chisels into place and able to lift stuff, and then using quite a bit of power with the sledgehammer to beat the chisels underneath and through the bronze. Do all of that and they will come out eventually, and a lot faster than using a blade head, screwdriver, and a claw hammer. Anyway, hammer time.
Let's begin the cutting.
Remember, Wear proper PPE. Yeah. Alright, multi-tool. Let's cut.
When the multi-tool isn't quick enough, out comes the angle grinder with a cutting wheel. It goes through the bronze like butter. No matter how well the cuts are planned, I find myself going back and having to cut more. It ends up being a cycle of cut, chisel, cut some more, chisel some more, till the cap is removed.
So now we are in the forward head, and I'm going to be removing the through-hull for the toilet, the old one. Let's take a look at this. So there it is. Let's see what happens if I just give it a good old yank. Oh, that is not encouraging. Yeah, that came out a little too easy. Hi. Hello? And that is how we've been removing our through-hulls. It takes a little while to do it, but slow and steady, we've been making progress. Please let us know how you remove your through-hulls down below. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. Fine. Okay.